If I think about someone who loves me the most, my brother comes up. And he would, there's this, I'm so happy I have this on record. There was this flip chart in front of my bed. And he said, we're going to write down a couple of goals, things you want to do, things you want to achieve. And my brother is my biggest fan. He follows my work, everything I teach, listens to my podcasts. And so he remembered, I always preach about the importance of knowing what you want.
Is he older or younger?
He's older, 7 years older. And he's like, we're going to write down goals. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm going through chemotherapy. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for Mari. I'm like, you son of a gun.
That's a good way to get you to buy in.
Yeah, I was like... So we wrote down things like 3 push-ups. Back then, I couldn't walk. Like, I could not even stand up. 3 push-ups. Standing for 5 minutes. 5 seconds. That was my first goal. 5 seconds. And every day doubling that. Walking 50 meters. Like, that was... Next time the nurse comes and sees the goals, I'm like... I saw her laughing at it. Or like saying, you're going to do... Like, how are you doing push-ups? You can't even stand. I'm like, oh no.
This is during round 1 of chemotherapy.
Round 1 was the craziest one because it was just too many dead cancer cells died. I was also on this dialysis machine, which was taking out my life energy. It also saved my life. I'm insanely grateful for the technology, but it's not a nice process. I barely slept, but I had my brother with me every single freaking day. He would come in. I don't know how he did it. Because I was also not in my best mood. Sleep deprived, malnourished.
That's understandable.
But he would just be positive. He'd sit there, make funny jokes, be nice to the nurses. He's the kindest sweetheart. He would, massage me the whole day. And that teacher taught me, like, we got so close during that time, and I could not be more grateful for someone in my life because I tell him all the time. Sometimes he gets a bit uncomfortable when I tell him I love you, but it's every single time I say I freaking love you. And knowing that bond between yourself and a sibling, we don't see each other every day, but I know I love him and he knows and he loves me. And I know when shit hits the fan.
Yeah, he showed up for you big time.
And I would do the same thing. And then that's something maybe, for someone who has never been through something like this. There is the possibility at some point, everybody will go through this. At some point, you're going to lose someone that you love. It's inevitable. At some point, someone will die. You're going to feel amazing, or you're going to feel so much better if they hurt their whole life that you love them and that you don't have regret. Imagine being 80, 90 and you've never told your kids that you love them, or your brother. That's going to be painful. Past is wisdom, so how about you do it right now?
Why do you think we hold back?
We're scared. Ego. Why did you hold back?
Yeah, I guess I was scared that he wouldn't reciprocate. What if I'm not loved?
What if not?
Yeah.
Does that matter?
It sounds like your brother, earlier I think you spoke of this as a teacher and helping you reframe a problem or challenge, as you like to say, from something that's happening to you to something that's happening for you, and then having some responsibility to be able to move forward rather than playing a kind of blame game victim mindset. It sounds like him coming in and setting up goals and giving you a target and things to work on may have been part of that shift.
1,000,000%. And then also seeing the progress was just a lot of fun. we went from 5 seconds, just stand for 5 seconds, to, okay, next day we do 10. Or, okay, next day we do 20. Okay, today, first 3 steps. Before we started round 2 of chemotherapy, there's also a clip of that. I'm walking 50 meters once a day. I mean, it sounds ridiculous when you hear that, walking 50 meters. It's not a big deal. But you see that clip, there's an oxygen mask on my face. There's an oxygen bottle. The whole time I had oxygen supply because my lungs were full of water. Every other day there would be a doctor who would do a lung puncture and get water out of my lungs so that I could breathe. So just getting out of my bed was the biggest accomplishment of my day then. Like after that I had to rest for 3 hours. Also keep in mind, I didn't walk for a couple of months. Or like a month. I was just laying in bed. Just standing up, like, oh, I don't want to stand up. Okay. Do it for Murray. Do it for love. Like he was my personal trainer at the time. Like I said, no, I don't want to. He's like, you're going to do it. Just do it. 3, 2, 1. I preach about this 3-second rule. And he's like, 3, 2, 1, just do it. Just the first step.
What's the 3-second rule?
The 3-second rule. Mel Robbins. Do you know her? Mm-hmm. She's fantastic. She wrote
a great podcast.
Yeah. She has this 5-second rule. She wrote the book 5 Seconds. I think it's literally called 5-second rule.
So you've adapted that to 3 seconds.
Yeah. Because if I can't count to 5. No, I just find it, when I'm like 5, 4, 3, and maybe don't do it. 3, 2, 1, just do it. So the whole idea is you have an intuition, you have an idea, you have something that you want to do. Count 3, 2, 1, and just take the first step. Do just the first step. The first step is usually the hardest. And so he's like, 3, 2, 1, just do it. First step, you can do it. And I did it. And every day. And then I would be so excited to tell him about the progress the next day. And I would send it to Mari. Like, look, I'm walking. And she would cheer me on for that. And then before round 2 started, I was walking 50 meters with this, I don't know how you call that, but it like supports you.
Yeah. It's like a type of assisted walking frame.
Yeah, exactly. And I had a lot of time to spend in a room. So I not only wrote down my goals. One day Mari came in, she's like, let's create vision boards for you. You need something to look at. And I would send her pictures. She would print it out and put it on the whole wall. Pictures of things that matter to me. I had a couple of Viktor Frankl quotes in front of me. A book that I've read a couple times during that process, Man's Search for Meaning. I needed a role model during that time. Like I needed success stories. I remember being on Instagram and looking for success stories for people who went through similar things, made it out of there, and lived a nice, beautiful, long life. I couldn't find many. And so I said, if I make it out of here, I'm going to be one of those success stories and I'm going to share it. And so my whole wall was full of like Viktor Frankl quotes. For some reason, I really one important thing for me was to get old with there were pictures of old couples being happy. I don't know why. I saw it yesterday when I prepped this session. I was like, why did I care so much about that? That was the picture that was most important to me. Getting old, having a family, and being in love.
It comes back to what is most meaningful.
Probably. And it was subconsciously. I just cared about that the most.